Number 5. Number 5 is Bumble. If you haven't heard of Bumble, I wouldn't be surprised. It's full of bots like most dating apps, but what makes this truly unique compared to all the other dating apps is it gets you ahead of the game. Now, if you're a male, then I think you know what I'm talking about. You could message a girl, but you know she's receiving thousands and thousands of messages. So for men, like ourselves, it's a competition. Now with Bumble, they do something different. The girl has to make the first move. But let me just tell you this, after being on here for 2 months, swiping right until my finger bled, until I ran out of prospects, I never got one match. You can't message them until you match, and they have to choose to message you after that. No, I'm not a bad looking guy. I'm actually pretty attractive. But the fact that I swiped right to at least 500 to even maybe 1,000, no exaggeration, swipes and didn't get a match nor a message tells me that Bumble is crap. When you're swiping right, you notice a lot of the girls are incredibly attractive. Now there's obviously a reason for that. Lots of fake profiles. So it could be that the website or application doesn't work correctly, or that it is 80% bots. So therefore, you just never get a match. Who knows? We may never know. Regardless, I do not recommend Bumble for anyone. And that being said, Bumble, we leave you in the past and move on to number 4. Number 4! Now, if you haven't heard of Tinder, you must live under a rock. Tinder is known as, well, the hookup app. Why do you think it's known as the hookup app? That's because everyone you meet, if you meet someone, apparently you have sex with them. I don't know. Again, like Bumble, our previous application, I went on here for, I want to say probably about 6 months. In my experience of the 6 months, I swipe right. I swipe right even if they're ugly, because I want to just test the app and see if it's legitimate. And for the most part, I'd get a very interesting, rather attractive match here and there. But what I did seem to notice is they would message me almost immediately with a big paragraph, and at the end it'd be like, come here to this website, we can have sex, baby. And I want to say I got probably 10 to maybe 20 of these a month. So it got real old real quick, you know, being sold sex or whatever the hell it was. Here and there throughout my months, like maybe 1 or 2 in a month would be a real person. And they'd message me and I'd message them and then they'd never message me again. So my experience with Tinder wasn't the greatest. In fact, Tinder, I say fuck you, just like Bumble. And we are going to go ahead and move on to number 3. Now, Match.com. It was a very interesting application. I used it for quite some time. I want to say 6 months. Now, the reason I put it at number 3 is because it has a paid subscription, which a lot of people are not about. But for the most part, very little bots, if at all any. I believe I maybe ran into one, and it wasn't even that good looking. Now, this was a great place and I had a great experience here. I really did. I talked to several different females and I enjoyed it a lot. Did I get a match? No, I did not get a match, but for the most part I got many replies, unlike a lot of the previous others mentioned, Tinder, Bumble, which 0. So, do I recommend Match? I highly recommend Match to you. It is a great experience. Now, if you are willing to fork up the money, then that's cool. Now let's move on to the next. Number 2. Now, OKCupid was something else. It was magical, but at the same time, it was terrible. Now, I have been banned off here about 5-6 times, but that's besides the point. OKCupid does something truly unique. They have a questionnaire system, which they have probably over 1,000 different questions. And as you answer these, it brings up more and more matches. Now, in the start, I didn't get a whole lot of replies, let alone views. But once I started answering the questionnaires, which was enjoyable for the most part, I began to get matches here and there, and then I would get views, and then I would would get messages and I would get replies. For the bots, not many. Well, there are a few here and there, but not like the previously mentioned Tinder and Bumble. This is an amazing application and I highly recommend it to anyone who is looking to get a date. Number 1! Now, number 1 is special and dear to my heart. Why is it number 1? Well, you can search hundreds of thousands of females, while at the same time messaging each and every one individually via voice or phone call. Something truly special. See when they view you, see who you match with. And, well, the thing that makes it really great and why it is number 1, rarely, if ever, will you get a reply, but that's besides the point completely. This is the best application that you can get. Yes, it is paid or free. Paid, you get a couple more things like uploading a certain amount of photos and a few other things, but for the most part, I've had the best experience with it. I have gotten matches that, well, we continued talking and then eventually started dating more than one time. I've been on here for several years and I highly recommend it over all the ever previously mentioned applications. This is the best by far. And have I been banned? Yes, I've been banned about 5 times. That's besides the point again. So you can get banned here just like anywhere else, but for the most part, this is number 1 and I highly recommend it. This was my very first top 5. If you enjoyed it, do give me a thumbs up and a subscribe for more.